Before we begin, if you believe kindness still holds power in a world that glorifies pride, take a second to subscribe, like, and share this story. Because today, what happened inside one of America's most luxurious restaurants will remind us that wealth can buy meals, but never manners. It was a Friday evening in New York City. Rain misted the glass walls of Etoile, the only 7-star restaurant in America, a place where chandeliers sparkled like captured constellations and every fork cost more than a worker's daily wage. At 8:01 p.m., the doors opened for a man whose reputation entered before he did. Mr. Zhao Liang, 72, Chinese billionaire, investor, philanthropist by title, and by heart, a man untouched by humility. His arrival drew whispers. Cameras flashed. For bodyguards in immaculate suits surrounded him as the maitre d' bowed low. "Table 1 by the window," Zhao said without glancing at the man. His tone wasn't rude, it was royal, like speaking to someone below the air he breathed. The restaurant fell into a hush of luxury and tension. Every server straightened, every chef peeked out. And then, the man chosen to serve him stepped forward. Marcus Reed, 34. A black waiter with kind eyes, pressed uniform, and calm dignity shaped by long hours and quiet prayers. Marcus had served senators, artists, and billionaires before, but this one felt different. He could feel the weight of old prejudice the moment Zhao's eyes landed on his skin. "Good evening, sir," Marcus said with a soft, respectful smile. "Welcome to Etoile. May I offer our chef's special?" Zhao's face hardened. "You." He tilted his head slightly, confusion flickering before disdain took over. "Are there no other servers available?" Marcus blinked once. "I'm assigned to your table tonight, sir." Silence. Then Zhao let out a short, sharp laugh that didn't touch his eyes. "I flew across the world to dine in excellence, not for social experiments." Every word sliced the air. Nearby guests turned. Some frowned. Others sank into discomfort. Marcus inhaled slowly. "Sir, I assure you, excellence is what we serve to every guest." Zhao's nostrils flared. He gestured dismissively. "Bring me someone else." The maitre d' froze. He looked between the two men, the billionaire whose investments kept the restaurant alive and the waiter who had never once received a complaint in 7 years. "Sir," Marcus said quietly, "I'll fetch your order myself. No need to cause a scene." But Zhao wanted a scene. Power demanded witnesses. As Marcus returned minutes later carrying an exquisite tray, Wagyu beef, truffle risotto, and red wine aged longer than most marriages, Zhao didn't even let him set it down. He flipped his hand. The entire plate, porcelain, sauce, and steak, crashed to the marble floor. Gasps filled the room. Zhao's voice was calm. "Now, get someone else." Marcus froze. Not from shock, but from a kind of sorrow. He'd seen this before in quieter forms: suspicion in stores, mockery in airports, hesitation in handshakes. For a moment, his reflection shimmered in the red wine spreading across the floor, like a wound bleeding across glass. He knelt down silently and began to clean the mess with a napkin. Zhao expected anger. Instead, he found grace. Marcus didn't mutter, didn't glare. He simply said, "Accidents happen, sir." The restaurant's chef, Chef Laurent, a silver-haired Frenchman known for his pride, stormed out from the kitchen, eyes wide at the scene. "Monsieur Zhao," he barked. "This man has served presidents. What honor is there in shaming dignity?" Zhao blinked, caught off guard. Laurent's accent carved through the silence. "A man's worth is not in his wallet, sir, but in his manner." Zhao's lips thinned. "This is not your business." The chef leaned closer, lowering his tone. "When cruelty enters my restaurant, it becomes my business." The entire staff stood frozen, their loyalty pulled between wealth and justice. Marcus finally rose, face calm. "It's all right, chef. Truly." He gathered the broken plate pieces, his hand trembling only once, not from fear but compassion. He walked away slowly, leaving Zhao with a silence heavier than shame. Later that night, as the restaurant emptied, Zhao lingered at the bar, scotch in hand, eyes unfocused. He was used to obedience, not confrontation. But something in Marcus's calmness lingered like a mirror he couldn't look away from. He overheard a voice near the kitchen, gentle, reassuring. Marcus knelt beside a young janitor who had dropped a tray of glasses. Hey, hey, don't panic, Marcus said softly. We all stumble, brother. What matters is how we rise. The janitor nodded, eyes red. Marcus helped him clean, then smiled faintly. If you let one mistake define you, you'll live your whole life apologizing. Don't. Just keep doing right. Zhao turned away, swallowing hard. He had heard those same words years ago, from his late wife, Mei Lin, the only person who'd ever dared tell him he wasn't invincible. Humility, she used to say, isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. Her photo was still on his yacht, untouched, framed in silence. For the first time in decades, Zhao Liang felt small. The next afternoon, Marcus clocked in for the lunch shift, still unsure if he would keep his job. He'd already replayed the incident 100 times in his mind, not with bitterness, but with the quiet question of whether he could have done anything differently. But as he adjusted his tie, the maitre d' approached him. Marcus, he said softly, table 1 is asking for you again. Marcus frowned. Asking for me? At table 1 sat Zhao Liang, no entourage this time, no bodyguards. Just an old man staring at the city through the glass. Marcus approached cautiously. Good afternoon, sir. Zhao turned, and for the first time, his voice lacked its usual iron. I owe you an apology. Marcus blinked. You don't owe me anything, sir. Zhao shook his head slowly. I was wrong. My wealth taught me power, not people. My wife used to warn me, and I laughed. You reminded me what respect looks like. He slid an envelope across the table, a personal check. The number on it made Marcus's chest tighten. It was enough to change his life completely. I don't need this, sir, Marcus said quietly. Zhao smiled faintly. It's not payment. It's gratitude. Marcus took a pen, wrote 2 words across the check, and slid it back. Respect is not for sale. For a moment, neither man spoke. Then Zhao Liang, billionaire, mogul, symbol of pride, stood and extended his hand. Marcus hesitated, then shook it. The grip was weak, but real. A week later, photos appeared online. Someone had captured the handshake. The headline read, Billionaire returns to 7-star restaurant to thank waiter he once humiliated. The internet did what it always does, argued, debated, divided. But buried beneath the noise were quiet comments that mattered. That waiter did more to change a man's heart than money ever could. Kindness isn't weakness. It's courage. Maybe the world still has hope. And somewhere in his Manhattan penthouse, Zhao Liang stood by the window, watching the city lights ripple across the Hudson. On his table sat a single note he'd written to himself. We rise not by climbing but by bowing. He folded it and placed it beside his wife's photo. For the first time in years, he whispered, You were right, Mei Lin. At the same hour, Marcus finished another long shift. He stepped outside, apron folded neatly over his arm, the city buzzing with noise and neon. The rain had stopped. The air was cool and clean, almost forgiving. He passed a homeless man shivering near the curb and without hesitation took off his jacket, draped it over the man's shoulders, and smiled. Keep warm, brother. The man looked up, confused. Why you helping me? Marcus shrugged softly. Because someone once thought I wasn't worth serving, and I decided they were wrong. He kept walking, head high, the glow of streetlights reflecting off puddles like melted gold. Sometimes, the richest souls wear aprons, not suits. And sometimes, the loudest lessons in life come from the quietest acts of kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away. Hit subscribe, share this story, invite someone today to subscribe, and tell someone today that their kindness matters, because it truly does.